Beloved family of light, welcome home. After many weeks on the road through borders and long stretches of open sky, we are back in our temple here in Bucerías. The ocean is near, the air is warm, and this altar has been waiting for us as we have been waiting for it. Thank you for holding the flame while we journey. We called this pilgrimage the long road home. Today, that road ends where it began, in presence. Before we begin, we would like to announce that beginning next week, we will move the service back 1 hour, or the same time that it was for those of you who do not change your clocks. So next week, we will meet at 8 Pacific, 9 Mountain Time, 10 Central Time, and 11 Eastern Time. So mark your calendars. Next week, for those of you that do observe daylight savings time and the fallback and all that jazz, we'll be meeting an hour before.
So take a breath with us. Inhale. Let the breath arrive before you do. And exhale. Let everything that was heavy on the journey fall away. Begin to feel your feet on the ground and the pulse beneath them. Feel the temple breathing with you. This morning, we remember that every detour, every delay, every unexpected turn is still sacred travel. We made a home, and so did you.
So let's open our hearts together in gratitude. The road was long, but the light never left our side. Wherever you are joining us from, your living room, your car, or your own altar space, you are part of this return. Together, we begin again in stillness, in devotion, and in the rhythm of divine timing. And now let's tune into the divine wisdom, the guru within each and every one of us. For those of you that are joining us for the first time, we begin every service with the Adi mantra. We take 3 deep breaths, and on the 4th breath, we sing Ong Namo Gurudev Namo 3 times. Ong meaning creative consciousness or God. Namo meaning I bow to. Gurudev, divine wisdom, and Namo, I bow to. So essentially, we call in the creative universal consciousness as we bow down to the divine wisdom inside of each of us. If you know it, join us. And if you are listening for the first time, feel free to listen and join in when you feel comfortable. Here we go. Rubbing your palms together, aligning the left and right sides of the brain, activating the pineal. And bringing your hands in front of your heart, taking a deep breath in, release, deep breath, and release, deep breath, and release, deep breath in to begin. Om Namo deep breath. Om Namo Om Namo Gurudev. Divine light in us, through us, and all around us. Flame of truth within every heart. We gather here not to escape our challenges, but to meet them as doorways to grace. Where we feel resistance, let us discover revelation. Where we feel delay, let us uncover divine timing. May the road that brought us home become our teacher now. May every mile of our journey soften the walls of the heart and widen the field of our faith. We offer this breath, this sacred stillness as the altar upon which presence may rest.
I invite you to take one deep breath in with me again and release. Landing here fully now, taking another deep breath in and release. Beloved divine, anchor us in patience, steady us in trust, and remind us that in the quiet rhythm of our own hearts, you are always here. Om Namah Shivaya, Om Guru Om, Amen, Aho, Ashe, and so it is. And as we rest inside that stillness, let the breath remind us we are never separate from the source we seek.
Beloveds, will stay in that breath and let the next few moments become a living mantra. The ancient phrase "Soham," Shivo'ham, means I am that, I am divine consciousness. It's a sound of returning home. As we sing it together, let it rise from your heart, flow with your breath, and carry whatever resistance remains back into peace. So if you like, you can close your eyes, you can place your hands on your heart or in your lap, something very meditative, and I will play the track and we can sing it all along together. Here we go.
Soham, Shivoham, Chiranandarupa, Shivoham, Soham, Anandoham, Chiranandarupa.
Sorry about that abrupt cutoff. If you'd like any of these tracks, feel free to let me know and I can send you the links. All right, everyone. So let that vibration settle into every cell. The remembrance that we are that.
Before we receive the word from Guru, I would like to take a moment to honor something sacred that has quietly been forming behind the scenes. For months, Christopher and I prayed for the right people, souls who could help hold this temple with integrity, wisdom, and devotion. We waited, sometimes patiently, sometimes not, but always with faith that Guru would send the right ones at the right time. And true to divine timing, he did.
We are deeply honored to introduce the Horizon Council today, the sacred circle of Merkaba Temple stewards and vision holders, those entrusted with guiding the unfolding of this ministry and protecting the integrity of its mission. The council is composed of myself, Aeon, Perse, Roy, Irina, and Jacob. So take a moment, you guys. I'm going to put us on gallery here. And just Perse and Roy, if you'll just wave to us. Thank you for your service. And Jacob, are you with us? Jacob.
He's there somewhere.
Oh,
There he is.
there's Jacob, everybody. And Irina was here an hour earlier because she's in Mexican time as well. And so she had something she had today, so she wasn't able to make it, but she'll be here next week. So each one of these amazing souls carries a unique light, and together they form the horizon, the meeting place of heaven and earth, where the first rays of a new era for Merkaba Temple begin to rise.
To our Horizon Council, thank you for saying yes. May our shared devotion keep this flame burning clear and bright. And now, as we stand in this circle of light, we open our hearts to receive today's transmission from Guru through our brother Jacob.
Okay, we're turning it over to Jacob. You'll just have to unmute.
Hi, how's it going? Just give me 1 second. All right. Hi, I'm Jacob, everybody. Here is Guru Nityananda's transmission for today. Children of the One Light, listen closely. The path you walk is not measured in distance, but in depth. Every pause, every delay is a whisper from the divine saying, rest here. There is still gold in this moment. You call it resistance, but I call it refinement. Then the clay meets the potter's hand. There is pressure, yet only through that pressure does form emerge from formlessness. Do not curse the shaping. Do not flee the friction. Let it polish you until you shine with the quiet knowing that nothing can hurry what is holy. The long road home is not punishment. It is protection. Spirit slows your steps so your heart can catch up with your destiny. Be gentle with the in-between. Breathe when nothing moves. That is where I walk beside you, not in your arrival, but in your waiting. When the wind resists the tree, the roots grow deeper. When life resists your plans, your faith learns to stand. So bow to the delay. Kiss the locked door. It hides your next instruction. The moment you stop fighting what is, the current of grace begins to carry you again. Then the road softens beneath your feet, and you remember, you were never lost. You were being led. I am with you, and the pause, and the pleasure, and the patience. Be still and know, you are already home. Om Guru Om. Jai Guru.
Thank you, Jacob, for carrying that transmission today.
Thank you.
So let's stay in that vibration, everyone, the stillness, the surrender, and the remembering that every delay is divine choreography. Guru reminds us that the path you walk is not measured in distance, but in depth. And sometimes that depth feels like a long and winding road. So now we shift from silence into song, a song that captures the heart of today's teaching, the ache and the beauty of finding our way home again. Please welcome our brother Roy, who will be singing the Beatles' Long and Winding Road. Turning it over to you.
Hi, guys. Long and winding road that leads to your door. will never disappear. I've seen that before. It always leads me here. Lead me to your door. Wild and windy nights that the rain washed away has left the field crying for the day. Why leave me standing here? Let me know the way. Because I've been alone, and many times I've anyway, you never know. In many ways I've tried. Till they lead me back to the winding road. You left me standing here a long, long time ago. Don't leave me waiting here. Lead me to your they lead me back to the winding road. You left me standing here a long, long time ago. Keep me
Amazing. Thank you, Roy. Thank you so much. The long, winding road. It has brought each of us here to this moment, to this breath, to this sacred homecoming. The song reminds us that even when the path curves, even when the journey feels uncertain or delayed, there is a hand, unseen but steady, guiding us forward. Today's message is about that very journey and about learning to walk with patience, to listen when nothing seems to move, and to trust that resistance itself is the teacher. To carry us deeper into that truth, it is my joy to welcome our beloved Aeon as he shares today's sermon, The Sacred Art of Moving Through Resistance, the Long Road Home. I love you.
That's my first sermon in in a few weeks, so I'm excited. Okay. All right, taking a moment to drop in with me. We're going to begin with an opening prayer. Let's start with Psalm 46:10. Be still and know that I am God. Beloved source of light, flame of truth within every heart, we gather in this space not to escape our challenges, but to meet them as doorways to grace. Where we feel resistance, let us discover revelation. Where we feel delay, let us uncover divine timing. May our hearts be open, our breath steady, and our awareness anchored in presence. Om Namah Shivaya, Om Guru Om, Amen, Aho, Ashe, and so it is. Feel the stillness settle. Let it take shape in the body. Let it soften the edges of the mind. Returning home, the mirror of resistance. The wound is the place where the light enters you, said Rumi. This month, I returned home to Ohio. It was beautiful to see my family again, to share meals, laughter, to sit inside walls that once raised me. And yet, there was a heaviness, not because love wasn't there, it was, but because old stories were too. So I ask you, have you ever gone home and felt yourself shrink a little? Like the energy of the past tries to pull you back into an older version of yourself. This is not regression, it's reflection. When we return to where our story began, Spirit reminds us and sometimes replays the same lesson, but now from a higher octave. You know, what I learned when I was there, I always explain it this way, is that, you know, my life growth happens in spirals. It's a vortex energy. And when I'm not growing and the opposite of growing is I'm degrowing, I guess you would say, it happens like spirals. They say like, oh, I'm flushing my life down the toilet. Well, the toilet moves counterclockwise or clockwise, depending on which side of the world you're on. But that happens in this, you have this ability in those moments to kind of see what's going on from a different perspective. And so when I went home to Ohio, it was interesting to be in familiar places, to go I had a doctor's appointment, to go to Columbus, where I spent a lot of my time in my active addiction, and just to see the older version of me and the thoughts. They weren't present, they weren't in front of me, but I could see them as ghosts in my peripheral. And you know, it's like the thought of, oh, I used to have craving here, but it wasn't the thought of I'm having a craving, which gave me the ability to see how much I've grown and how much I've evolved. And so, you know, we have these choices that we get to make. You know, for me, it comes in this brief moment of awareness where I'm at the top of a cycle. And in that brief moment of awareness, I have two choices. I can take the stairs to my left and I can evolve into the next cycle, or I can ignore the stairs and continue on the cycle that I'm on, repeating all the old behavior, repeating all of the old patterns until I've suffered enough that by the time I get back to that moment of awareness, I decide to take the stairs. And that's certainly what I've done in my life. And what's interesting is when you take the stairs and you're on your next journey of evolution, you can still see the floor below. You don't engage with it. It's the shadows of your former self as you continue to evolve. So the universe doesn't test us to torment us. It mirrors us so we can see what's been integrated and what still needs our tenderness. And once we recognize that mirror, we begin to see that resistance isn't here to hold us back, it's here to sharpen us. And that brings me to our next truth, the nature of resistance, friction as teacher. Brings me to a verse in the Bible, Proverbs chapter 27, verse 17, as iron sharpens iron, so one person sharpens another. And I really like this verse because it speaks to the importance of the people we surround ourselves with. In my old life, you know, when I was back in Columbus, I didn't go and visit any of the people who I used to engage in those behaviors with because they're no longer in my crowd. They're no longer in my circle. Instead, I engage with people like the folks that are on Horizon Council, like Christopher, people who are also on this spiral journey of growth and evolution, because I recognize that as iron sharpens iron, so one person sharpens another. And it's super important for me to engage with the people who are moving in the direction of evolution. And in that, you know, I had to resist myself with like the pool of like wanting to go to say hi to these people because they were a big part of my life and be like, hey, look how much I've grown. But that would have been taking the stairs down and not taking the stairs up, and recognizing that they're on their journey and I have to give them space to be on their journey, and I have to protect my integrity. I have to protect my journey. And so resistance isn't punishment, it's polishing. Every time we meet friction in our lives, it is refining us. You know, in the journey of recovery, I meet a lot of resistance. I have to, you know, in the beginning, I had to resist the temptation to go out and use. I had to resist the temptation to engage in old behavior. And that resistance was the fire that forges the new version of myself. And so the ego wants comfort, but the soul wants growth. And growth is not soft, it's sacred pressure. Growth is not always the most comfortable thing to experience, but in that growth, as we expand, we have the capacity to hold more for ourselves. We have the capacity to move towards the life that we're designed to live. So when I left Ohio, I thought the next phase would unfold easily. I had it all lined up, paperwork done, which took a little extra time, plans clear, the route to Bucerías mapped, just a simple drive from Texas back to Mexico. But Spirit had other plans, more delays, more confusion, more waiting, more paperwork that wouldn't process, and plans suspended. And there was again resistance. But instead of fighting it, I began to listen. I began to ease into it. I began to just to observe the resistance in my body, to observe the resistance and see that it had a bigger plan, that there was a plan there that I had to lean into and surrender. And what I heard was this: you are not stuck, you're being still. Sometimes the universe has to teach us what stillness looks like. And that's really what it is. It's just learning to have this relationship with stillness. And I've found oftentimes in my life, like I'll continue to keep pushing until I hit a wall so hard that I don't have any choice but to be still. And there is a profound difference between stagnation and stillness. When the ego says I'm stuck, it's trapped in resistance. But when the soul says I'm still, it's rooted in reverence. And what I mean by that is it's rooted in the reverence of the experience. It's rooted in the surrender that is letting go and allowing. And in that allowing, we're more capable of seeing the options that are available to us. Like when I have my sights set on one destination, and that's where I'm heading, and nothing is going to stop me, what happens is I lose sight of the beauty of what's happening around me. I lose sight of all of the other doors and opportunities that may be available to me. Because sometimes doors open unexpectedly. But when the ego says, but the pause, again, is not punishment, it's preparation. So sometimes Spirit will hold us in a sacred waiting room until we are calibrated for the next frequency of our journey. Sometimes we have to sit and integrate the lessons that we've learned before we can fully show up for the next part of our story. So I ask you, how many of you have been in a waiting room lately? How many of you can relate to that sacred pause that happens before movement begins to begin again? And so that moves us into our journey back here to Mexico, the long road home, and the lessons that it taught us. And this, I'll start with Psalm chapter 23, verses 2 and 3. He leads me beside still waters, and he restores my soul. So when Christopher and I finally got on the road from Texas to Mexico, I thought we were just driving home. But it became something else entirely for me. The drive stretched on what felt like forever, but was only 2 days. Flatlands, endless sky, and the long ribbon, literally ribbon, of highway unfolding mile by mile. It was as if the road itself was alive, yet endless, and speaking in silence. Each hour a teacher, and each town a mirror. And to be honest with you, at first I felt dense. I didn't feel liberated at all. My body felt tired, my spirit felt heavy, and I could feel the residue of everything that I just left behind. I could feel like a sense of disappointment that there was unfinished business where there was none. And as we drove those wide Texas plains, Spirit whispered, "Let the road do its work." Every stretch of open land became a reflection of my inner landscape. And I realized resistance was riding shotgun. It wasn't trying to stop me. It was asking simply to be witnessed. And so I stopped resisting the resistance. I put my headphones on with noise cancellation because Christopher likes to listen to a lot of mantra really loudly. So I was like, I need silence. And so we both could have our own space. I put my headphones in with noise cancellation because I just needed to be in silence. I just needed to be with the yuck that I was feeling. I didn't want to change it. I didn't want to meditate it away. I didn't want to over spiritualize it. I just wanted to feel like crap for the 2 days that we were driving. And that was okay because I needed to have that experience. I needed to just calibrate my body and my soul and my mind and my emotions to everything that we had just gone through over the previous 27 days. And so I rode in silence. And somewhere between mile marker 0 and what felt like mile marker 10,000, the highway shimmered under a low sun, and I felt something shift. As we got closer to home, I felt something shift inside of me. And the further south we drove, the lighter I felt. Not because the miles were passing, but because the weight was. The air changed, my breath deepened, and home wasn't just a location anymore, it was a frequency. That drive became a living sermon, a sacred pilgrimage through the landscape of resistance. Because here is the truth. The journey itself, day by day, moment by moment, is the purification. It's that journey, it's the resistance that is the sandpaper that our soul needs to shine. So you don't reach peace by rushing, you remember peace by resting. You know, for a long time, I just kept trying to rush to peace. If I get this done and this done and this done, I can finally sit down and be at peace. But then when I do that, I've already created this current of momentum that when I sit down, I'm still traveling emotionally, mentally, spiritually in that momentum, and I have a hard time letting myself settle. And so what I'm learning is that there is a way to carry this peace moment by moment, act by act, obligation by obligation. And how I do that is I just allow. There's something beautiful in allowing. When you know I make a commitment and I keep that commitment, that it's really nice to have that bookmark, because then when I get to that commitment, I already know I'm going to show up for it. I can just allow myself to have the experience. I don't have to overperform. I don't have to overreact. I can just be in the experience and be present for what I'm experiencing. And in that presence, my relationships deepen, the lessons that I learn from what I'm experiencing deepen. And what this resistance does is allows us to deepen our experience of life, to deepen the lessons, to bring more of ourselves into everything that we do. So spirit doesn't measure distance, spirit measures depth. Every mile you travel within yourself brings you closer to home. And going deeper into this, presence as alchemy, alchemy being the thing that changes one thing to another, staying steady in the storm. And I'm going to start this off with Romans chapter 12, verse 2. Do not be conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewal of your mind. And in the Yoga Sutras, Patanjali says yoga is the stilling of the fluctuations of the mind. So when resistance appears, the true invitation is presence. Because when we are fully present, resistance loses its grip on the nervous system. I noticed this while sitting with my family in Ohio, old arguments wanting to reappear, old roles wanting to replay. But instead of reacting, I breathed. I grounded into the now. And I chose to observe instead of absorb. I chose to just be present and allow others to have their experience, to allow others to have their journey, their own evolution. And that presence actually calmed the room. That my sister even came up to me at one point. She goes, I don't think our family sees what I see. And I asked her, I said, what do you see? She goes, there's a hum coming off of you. And that hum, that vibration was me just simply being present. Not wanting to be anywhere else like before. Whenever I would spend time with my family, I was always waiting to leave so I could go do the crazy things I would do. Or I would be so stuck in all of the things that they had done to me in the past that I was sitting there so resentful that I didn't want anything to do with them. But instead on this trip, and this makes me really kind of emotional, I just allowed myself to be with them and not feel the need to change them in any way, not feel the need to like step in and make their journey easier. Just simply honor them and love them for who they are. And in that presence, it calmed the room. In that presence, everyone else around me was able to show up as themselves and not feel the need to perform. And the resistance that I felt to my family dissolved. And that's the goal, is to like find ways to see the resistance and what it actually means and to dissolve it into presence. To show up fully for the things in our lives without the need to fix, change, pull, alter. Because all of those are different forms of resistance. Different forms of not allowing the present to be what it is. So presence became my protection. Each breath whispered, I am no longer that version of myself. And the realization, it's the essence of transformation. Presence lets us hold both truths at once. The polarity. The healing is happening and that it's still unfolding. So let's take a breath together, knowing that healing can be incomplete and still holy. Taking a deep breath in and release. All things are holy. The resistance is holy. The lessons that come from the resistance is holy. And you are holy. And so this brings me to Ecclesiastes chapter 3, verse 1. To everything there is a season, and a time to every purpose under heaven. And the Bhagavad Gita says, fire refines gold and adversity refines the soul. In physics, resistance creates heat. In fitness, resistance builds strength. In spirit, resistance awakens awareness. Every day, every delay carries data. Every obstacle hides an opportunity for surrender, and every not yet is an act of divine choreography. The moment you stop pushing against what is, the current of grace begins to carry you forward. And when you surrender, not in defeat, but in devotion, you stop leaking energy. You stop fighting what's meant to teach you, and that's when resistance transforms into revelation, into growth. And this brings me to our closing reflection and blessing from John chapter 1, verse 5. The light shines in the darkness, and the darkness has not overcome it. So if you find yourself delayed, discouraged, or in an atmosphere that feels too heavy, remember, you are not backsliding, you are deepening. Resistance is not a blockade, it's a birth canal. And when that path clears, you won't just move forward, you'll rise higher to the next octave. Because you didn't resist the resistance, you transmuted it. So may every mile become a mantra, every delay on your doorway a new doorway, and every return a revelation. So let us close in prayer. Beloved Creator, teach us to meet life as it comes, not with fear, but with faith. Let resistance reveal our resilience. Let waiting awaken our wisdom. May every delay be seen as divine orchestration of grace. May we move forward, not from force, but from flow. Not from impatience, but from peace. And in the name of love that liberates, light that guides, and truth that endures, Om Namah Shivaya, Om Guru Om, Amen, Aho, Ashe, and so it is. And so, beloveds, we come to rest in what we've heard. The teaching becomes truth only when it is felt. Christopher will now guide us in a short meditation to help us embody the path home, to breathe through resistance and return from grace.
That was so beautiful. Thank you so much. I cried like 4 times. I love you so much.
I love you too.
So everyone, go ahead and close your eyes and let the spine lengthen, letting the shoulders drop, and the rhythm of the breath returning to its natural pace. With each inhale, imagine the breath traveling the long road within you. The road that leads straight to your own heart. And with each exhale, let go of the weight you picked up along the way. Breathe in trust. And breathe out resistance. Breathing in presence. and breathing out pressure. Feeling your body as the landscape of your journey. Mountains of muscle, rivers of breath, valleys where tenderness gathers. You are not behind, you are becoming. Now place one hand over your heart, feeling its rhythm. Steady, faithful, and unrelenting. Through every detour, this heart has never stopped walking you home. Let that awareness spread like sunlight through the body. Even the places that feel tense or resistant, let them soften, as if the light itself were whispering, "You are safe to arrive." Breathing deeply once more. And as you exhale, silently saying to yourself, "I am already home. I am already home." I am already home. May we carry this stillness with us as we continue the road ahead, not rushing to arrive, but resting in the knowing that we are guided with every step. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Slowly beginning to deepen your breath, feeling yourself returning. Present, grounded, and whole. And when you are ready, opening your eyes and coming back to this place.
Beautiful. I am already home. It's a frequency. Every journey home invites a gesture of gratitude, an exchange that says, I have received and I give in return. This is the rhythm of the universe itself. Inhale and exhale, giving and receiving, spirit breathing through us all. Here at Merkaba Temple, every offering, every dollar, every prayer, every act of service keeps this light burning. It sustains our Sunday temple, our retreat scholarships, and the sacred spaces we hold for healing and awakening. So if you feel moved to give today, you can do so through merkabachurch.com/donate or Venmo at Merkaba Church. Let us give not from need, but from wholeness, not from pressure, but from peace. For what we give from presence multiplies in presence. And as we give, we affirm today together, I am carried, I am provided for, I give from my fullness, and my giving multiplies blessing.
So thank you, family. Thank you for every gift, every breath, and every act of devotion that sustains this temple. Let us take a final moment to feel the fullness of what has been given and received today. The words, the music, the silence, and the presence. Each offering, seen and unseen, becomes light upon this altar. And now, as we prepare to close our gathering, let that light turn inward again, toward the heart, toward the source that carried us here. Let us close with prayer. Divine light in us, through us, and all around us. We thank you for the long road that led us here, for every delay that deepened our faith, for every detour that softened our hearts, and for every moment of resistance that became a mirror of grace. Teach us to move through life not by force, but by flow, to trust the pauses as much as the progress, to remember that every breath we take is another step toward home. May our patience become prayer, may our presence become power, and may our journey, each twist, each turn, become a song of devotion to the one who walks beside us always. Bless our temple, our Horizon Council, and every soul who gathered here today. Let our work, our words, and our way of being shine as offerings of love to the world. We seal the service in the light that never leaves us, the light that guides, protects, and provides. Om Namah Shivaya, Om Guru Om,
Amen, Aho, Ashe, and so it is. Beloved family, we seal today's service with Sat Nam. Truth is our identity. We'll take 3 easy breaths together. On the 4th breath, we'll chant 1 long Sat and 1 short Nam. Take a breath in and release. Again, deep breath in and release. Once more, in and release. Receive the first breath. Sa. Sat Nam.
Sat Nam. And now, I will give this to you.
All right.
We will turn things over to Perse, our beautiful Perse, who will be reading our announcements. Hold on one second. Let me find you here. Here we go.
Okay, hi everyone, beloved family. Thank you for being here with us in this sacred circle. Each Sunday, this temple fills not just with words, but with presence, your presence. And we feel each of you across every screen, every country, and every breath. Although I am joining from Florida today, it fills my heart with joy to see Christopher and Aeon back home again in our temple in Bucerías. Grounded, glowing, and ready for the next season of service. What a blessing to feel the family gathered again in body and spirit. Before we move to our announcements, we want to offer a special thank you to Irina, who is not here today, but she serves us so faithfully behind the scenes each week, managing the chat, supporting our online family, and ensuring that the technological side of our temple flows with grace. Irina, we see you, we love you, and we thank you. A few brief announcements before we close the temple for today. If you joined late or wish to revisit today's transmission, the full replay will be available on our YouTube channel at ArcherShaw Temple. After the service, you are more than welcome to stay for a few minutes of fellowship, to share reflections, questions, or blessings in the chat in here or in person. This is our time to connect heart to heart as a spiritual family.
And our upcoming events, Kundalini Yoga and Guru Broga with Christopher will resume soon once we move into our new temple in Puerto Vallarta proper. Stay tuned to our Facebook page, ArcherShaw Temple, for times and locations. Also, we have private coaching, Oracle activation, the Divine Executive, private Kundalini and Hatha classes, and custom immersions are available through archershaw.guru. Start by booking your complimentary 30-minute planning call with us. The link is to our scheduling app is in the chat or can be found on our website. And join us this winter for Merkaba retreats on the beaches of beautiful Puerto Vallarta.
Yeah, baby.
Customized earth medicine and non-medicine immersions to help you remember who you truly are. Details at merkabaretreats.com.
If today's message spoke to you, we do invite you to explore our latest writings on awakening, devotion, and sacred leadership. Please visit our blogs at archershaw.guru/blog and merkabaretreats.com/blog for fascinating articles on spirituality, relationship, plant medicine, and the journey of conscious living. Each post is crafted as a teaching to deepen your practice between services.
And stay connected. Follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube at ArcherShaw Temple for weekly clips, prayers, and updates. And please sign up for our mailing list on archershaw.guru and receive our free guide, A Return to the Flame, a sacred guide to awakening, devotion, and conscious relationship.
Thank you again, family, for walking this long and winding road with us, for showing up with your hearts, your voices, and your faith. May your coming week unfold in divine timing, guided by patience, presence, and peace. We love you, we bless you, and we can't wait to see you again next Sunday. Walk in light, walk in love, and remember, we are all one. Om Namah Shivaya, Om Guru Om, Amen, Aho, Ashe, and so it is, and so it shall be, as Per se says.
So stick around after the service for fellowship. And if not, we'll see you next week.
Namaste.